The very first thing that you start with in any mastering session is to listen really closely for any technical errors in the recording. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this first mastering video tutorial. I'm going to show you some technical checks. So what we're going to do is have a listen to the stereo mixed file, the final mix. And the first thing that I like to do in my mastering chain is actually include an equalizer with a roll-off at around about 40 to 50 hertz or so. So I'm actually going to switch that in. It's just a technique that I like to use in a mastering session. And then, of course, we have our multimeter tool. And the first thing that we do is we listen for any technical issues. So what we're listening for is there any overloading? Is there any phase issues? And what's happening in the stereo imaging. So I'm going to be wanting to watch our analyzer, our goniometer, and then of course our different meters to see what's happening. So let's listen to the song from start to finish and see what's going on.
I don't want you thinking nothing, 'cause it showed me where the love is. Every moment was patient. Take all my love, I don't want it. And if I hurt you, I'm sorry. I never change and I know it. I know it. Please don't let me go. Don't let me go. I'm standing here, boy. So don't let me.
All right, so the goniometer and the correlation meters look within nice range, so there are no phase issues and good stereo imaging. That's great. But you see these red clip lights. Now, I switched that equalizer in and out, and there was definitely a huge difference in the levels as soon as we switched that EQ in and out, that filter that was filtering out those lower frequencies. It was definitely having a big influence. And you see these red lights, these peak clip lights. That is unintentional distortion that's clipping. The mix is definitely way too loud, and it's not the good kind. It is unintentional. The mix is too loud, and it's going to have to be readdressed at the mix stage. And then I want you to have a listen again right from the very beginning and listen really carefully to the vocal part. Did you notice the mouth noise and breaths, especially around the 8 and 9 second mark? So let's watch the timer at the top here, and around about that 8 and 9 second mark, listen carefully just to the vocal part, and you'll definitely hear the mouth noise and the breaths. And again, that is something that needs to be looked at in the mix stage. Let's have a listen.
I don't want you thinking nothing, 'cause it showed me where the love is. Every moment was patient.
All right, let's go back into the mix and have a look at what's going on. I'm going to solo the vocal part so that we can actually hear at that 8-9 second mark that click.
I don't want you thinking nothing, 'cause it showed me where the love is. Every moment was patient.
In fact, if I zoom in a little bit, you can actually see the click bump over there. Let's have a look at it. Yep. And you can even see the breath noise that I've cut there as well. So these are things that we need to clean up and address in the mix stage. The other thing that we really need to have a look at is that there's a really big jump in levels from section to section, from the verse into the chorus. And the best approach here, again, would be to take the whole mix and turn it down around about 5 dBs or so, just so that we know that there'll be no true peak clips. And then, of course, we want to rebounce at these new levels. And in mastering, we can again check the levels between the sections as well. But we really need to work on a stereo mix that isn't clipping. All right, so what needs to happen then in order to sort out those technical checks is we need to turn the whole mix down by 5 dBs or so. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to grab everything. Let's show these again and go into the mix window. And I'm going to turn everything down by 5 dB. So from -4 to -9. Great. And that's going to just help us to ensure that we don't have any true peak clips. And then again, I'm going to go into that vocal session. And what I'll need to do with the vocals is just solo them and clean them up. You can see I've done a few fades here and there, but I really didn't clean up the vocals enough in the mix session stage, and you can definitely hear those clicks and you can definitely hear the breaths. They're not adding something to the sound, they're actually a bit of a distraction. They need to be nice and clean. All right, so before we go into the mastering session, I need to clean that up, and we can take it from there. And that's how you do your technical check. Use your multimeter, check your true peak as well as your loops levels, check your RMS levels as well. Use your spectrum analyzer to have a look-see at what's happening across the audio spectrum. Check your goniometer, check your correlation meter for phasing and stereo imaging, and I'll catch you in the next video.